Good day everyone. So who is a better teammate for Lisa, Kokomi or Barbara? Well, in today's video we'll sort of just try and find that out, but there's got to be a bit of a special rule that we have to impose, and that is that Kokomi is not allowed to attack during her elemental burst because, well, I sort of tested it, and if she does, well then there's no real competition here. So yeah, that's what we'll sort of look at today, and of course the builds are towards the end of this video. Now all of the characters are running 4-star weapons only, 4-star skins, because somehow that is more F2P friendly than having 1 or 2 5-stars. To each their own, I guess. But yeah, that's more or less what we're going to do. And of course, my Kokomi will just have her standard build. Obviously, she's a bit stronger than the average little Kokomi out there, so that's why I kind of like decided to just sort of impose that rule. So it's all about just how do we manage Hydra application. That's actually what this video comes down to. And speaking of Hydra application, so the problem you have with Barbara is that you have to constantly swap on and off just to sort of maintain that sort of like Hydra aura, and then you have to manage your other Dendro user and Fischl and resetting, all these sorts of things. And that is the big thing. It's not just that Kokomi allows you a bit more comfort, but in terms of what she offers for your rotations, it's just so much smoother. Now, of course, you can make it work with Barbara, and that's exactly what I'm doing in the background. Roughly about 1 minute 30. I think that's pretty fair for an F2P team. Different people have different opinions on it, but I'm usually of the opinion 1 minute 30 should be the gold standard. Mostly, I don't know. You can tell me in the comments what you think. In any case, we're going to sort of easily beat that with the Kokomi. So I'm going to play more or less in the exact same way. So you can see I'm using and casting my abilities more or less in the same way. So hopefully we'll try and not bias it too much. But obviously at some point, with given the enemy AIs and whatever, the way in which the battle plays out already diverges, so comparisons do become a bit more difficult. But one thing that you'll notice is exactly how easy it is for me to sort of like manage my abilities, just have that consistent Hydra uptime. That means I can sort of spend more time having Lisa on the field, which means she can catch more particles because her burst is like quite heavy. Obviously we can then have like the Dendro Traveler more on the field. Oh, by the way, I broke my rule there. Oh well, it's not like it's going to really matter. But the point is, with the consistent off-field Hydra application, you now have more ability to sort of use your other characters to set them up. You can see with Lisa we can add a bit of stacks to the enemy if we really wanted to go in that playstyle. We can pick up more energy particles, and overall everything just feels more smoothly, even though, as you can see in the background, I'm not playing very tightly. I'm not being super strict in terms of cooldowns. I'm just doing it very loosely, and that is what Kokomi provides. It's not just comfort, but that ability for you to more easily manage your team's cooldowns and play around with it. That's something that's not always acknowledged. Like with Xingqiu and Yelon, you still have to weave in an attack. But here with Kokomi, when you apply your Hydra, you literally just chill, relax, and that's kind of what makes her like so much fun. Alright, so yeah, we're now on the arguably one of the more difficult floors in the Spiral Abyss, so we're just going to keep close to these enemies, try and take them out. You see, this is once again the problem with Barbara, because if you want to generate Dendro cores, you have to go to Barbara, but then you have to make sure that your electro units are on field so that they can trigger them. It's just the management of your abilities here is precisely what like costs time. So if you could theoretically like play perfectly with Barbara and so on, you might be able to match what you can do here with Kokomi and so on, but it's very difficult. You have to play so precisely. In any case, here you can see what we're going to do. These two enemies are very non-standard. I think these are some of the most fun enemies we have, because you can't just stand still, use your abilities and then hope they die. You have to actively sort of move, dodge and so on, so that's why I kind of like using or fighting these enemies. And as you can see, we're definitely trying our best and so on. So from a damage perspective, we can't really do much until we sort of break their little special. They drop like this little stun and stuff, and then you can break it. But until that point, yeah, we just have to manage our abilities, ensure we get our elemental burst, not die and so on. But yeah, that's sort of what it is. So we knock down the one enemy, hopefully we'll be able to knock down the other enemy. They've conveniently grouped here for me, so that's kind of very nice. But it does take a bit of a while. So as you guys can see, there's the final stone from the other little bird, and once we take that out, it's actually pretty quick to take care of him. So yeah. So how does a Kokomi team do this? Well, what you'll see now is me literally first interrupting this episode to bring you a quick little speed run from my little other team. Sorry, I just had to read this in because it's just so satisfying seeing this Nilo team just blow up triple Genki. I don't know. I think this is like one of my favorite little pastimes. Just how satisfying is that? It's about 18 seconds for those of you wondering. Not the fastest, but certainly it feels very, very good. All right, so let's just get back to floor 12 2 again, and now let's do it with Kokomi. So what I'm now going to do is just literally play like an idiot, because that's what we can do with Kokomi. We can play like an idiot, and by the way, since I didn't have Lisa's burst available, I'm not going to use it right now, even though I could, and that would of course affect the clearing times and whatever, but let's just be fair to the little Barbara team, because we couldn't do that energy management because we had to use Barbara more actively, otherwise we couldn't trigger Hyper Bloom cores. You see, this is the benefit of having like Kokomi and so on around. So let's just talk a bit about something that's very, very interesting, and that's this idea that Kokomi's jellyfish can't be repositioned. And I think this is an idea that people put forth that really don't know how to play the game, because what you'll see me doing is I'm just literally playing in the vicinity of my like little jellyfish. So as the enemies knock me around and all these sorts of things, I keep on trying to like weave in and out and luring them into it, almost like a little bit of a cage. You can see it with Lisa. You can see I'm just running around them, and that is sort of my way of managing my positioning with these enemies. Now, what can happen with these enemies is that they can, especially with Soul Scorpion, can drive you into a corner, and even if you iframe or whatever, you might not have enough like dashes and so on, and that can be very, very problematic. In that case, you just let it sort of ride out, and then once that happens, you just sort of then reset at a new position. So let me give you an example of exactly what I mean by that. So let's just take the sort of same little team here. I'm just going to sort of play a bit more aggressively, obviously break the rules and use Kokomi a bit more actively and so on. But what you'll notice when we get to the Scorpion and the little whatever flying bird thing is exactly how I set up in an area, play around that area, and once I'm knocked out, I sort of wait for my cooldowns and then I reset in a new place. So what you can see here is I'm building up sort of my little area where I'm comfortable, and now I'm just going to lead the enemies in and out. So this is what we're going to try and do, see if we can't get a little gap here. You can see the enemies are definitely trying to knock me out and away from my jellyfish, but I'm the one managing the field. I'm sort of trying to manage around this. You can see we're now sort of attacking and so on, and unfortunately now we've been sort of knocked out of our place. It doesn't matter, we reset at the new area, and then we just sort of like play around. So even if you could not play perfectly, and even if you're knocked around, you just reposition, regroup at a new place, set up your jellyfish, set up your little dendro or hydro, whatever rings, you can see with the travel and so on, and then from there on you just sort of like keep on dancing around them. It's really, really that simple. These enemies seem difficult, but you can trust me, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty fun to play against them. I actually want to praise Hoyo because this is the first time I actually have fun in the Spiral Abyss. Alright, so from my side, that is it. Here are the builds. I'll keep quiet. Thank you so much for watching, and any comments or anything you want to say, let me know down below. Cheers.